Welcome back, Wellness Besties, to the Yoga Socialite pod. Today we are hopping into a topic that's probably going to surprise you, and that is the power of silence. Yes, we have talked about how your words have power, how you need to speak life, how to set intentions, affirm into yourself, and that is truly important. But today I want to flip the script because the life and our body and our experience is yin and yang, and we're going to talk about something just as important, and that is moving in silence.
What's up, Wellness Junkies? It's the girl with the business brain and yoga body, Sabrina Zealous, welcoming you to Yoga Socialite. This is the place where asana meets aesthetics, so we're here for the good vibes, the cute fits, and the real talk. Let's get into it.
And before you start to think, Sabrina, didn't just last week, did you tell me to post on my social all the great things that I am doing? Or am I telling you to dim your light? Or am I telling you to shrink yourself? Absolutely not. Okay. And yes, I did tell you to post on your social last week, but I'm not telling you to dim yourself, and I am not telling you to shrink yourself down or to dim your light or anything of that nature. This is not about playing small. This is about playing smart. And there's a difference. So sometimes the most powerful move you can make is the one that no one sees coming. Not because you're hiding, not because you're playing small, but it's because you don't need an audience to validate what you're building. Just yesterday, I was talking to my friend Carla, and she said she was taking a little social media cleanse. She hadn't been on Instagram, and I was like, jokingly guilt tripping. For those of you who are not watching this and just listening to the audio, I'm using quotations. I was guilt tripping, but I'm jokingly guilt tripping her. I'm like, girl, you've not seen all the amazing things I've been posting, just giving her crap for it. But there is such a power of not being on social when you're making big moves, when you're making money moves, when you are working and weaving in and out through this power. There is a power of silence, and that's what we want to talk about today. Sometimes your silence will speak louder than words. So I want you to picture this, and you can close your eyes unless you're listening to this while you're driving. I want you to picture this. You're in a meeting, and someone is talking over you. They're trying to assert their dominance, and you could totally match their energy. You could get loud, you could prove your point, but instead you pause. You let them talk themselves in circles, and when the moment is right, you drop one clear, concise statement, and that cuts through all that noise. And suddenly, everyone is listening to you. Or think about the quiet hustler, the one who isn't announcing, and I know the word hustle is no longer, it used to be like girl boss and boss babe and hustle, and those words are kind of like naughty words now, but let's think of another word. Let's think of the person that is putting in the work. That's a better way of saying it. Let's think about the person who is putting in the work, the one who isn't announcing every move on social media, and while others are busy seeking validation, they're focused on what's happening behind the scenes. And you can still be focused on what's happening behind the scenes and also share kind of behind the scenes moments with people without putting all your cards out there. I got engaged last week, and some of you were like, I didn't even know, well, those of you who don't know me well, were like, I didn't even know that you were in a long-term relationship. Yes, I am. And I just do not share all the things on social because I'm always doing something in the background, and some things are just meant to be private. And even in faith, if you're a faith-based person like myself, we see principle in action. That comes up in the Bible so many times. So let's think about when Jesus was on trial. He was mocked. He was getting accused of so many things. They tried to bait him into defending himself, but instead of arguing, he stayed silent. And today I actually have the verse. That's from Matthew 26, 62 through 63. There is power in silence. So let's talk about other people that have made those power moves. I'm going to give you some examples because you know how I love to do things, love to give you some examples. The first example my nephew is going to love because he is queen of the beehive, okay? He is Beyonce's #1 fan. In fact, I limit him on how much he can text me about Beyonce. That is not a joke. He gets to text me once a week about Beyonce. I get my Beyonce updates from him and him only. And Beyonce is a great example of this. I like Beyonce. I love her country album. But I'm not the biggest Beyonce fan like he is. I'm not part of the Beehive. I am Beehive adjacent. But one thing about Beyonce, and you gotta give her snaps, is that she never announces her albums. She drops them. She makes sure you are paying attention without even giving you an inkling of what she's doing. She drops, no warning, and bam, there is the impact. The world stops. That is moving in power. Another person to think about with this is Keanu Reeves. Love me some Keanu. I think everyone loves Keanu Reeves. Everyone. Like, I don't know anyone who doesn't like Keanu Reeves. And if they don't, I would not trust them. We had to take a dramatic pause for that. So Keanu Reeves. I mean, what can I say about Keanu Reeves? I could go down a rabbit hole, but I just love that he moves in silence. Like, he still rides the freaking subway, okay? He could definitely take a town car. He could definitely have a driver. He doesn't. He gets on the subway like everyone else. He donates millions to charities without putting his name out there. I mean, he helps out crews. He lives like the shooting crews, like, you know, the people on his crews and sets that like may need help. He's been known to help them out. And he lives very humbly despite all of his fame. He doesn't need anything to prove, and his actions truly speak louder than anything. And I also like to think of this in a way of gaming. Sometimes the person that's talking the most crap on a gaming system, like if you're playing a game that has like the headphones and stuff, sometimes the person talking the most crap is usually the person that is not backing it up. Or like, think about chess. I'm not a chess player, but when someone is playing chess, chess is a quiet game. And when someone is playing chess and they hit that checkmate, it's like, oh my gosh, like, did y'all just see that happen? Like, they didn't have to like make any bravado statements. They just straight up made the move and bam. Or when you think about people playing poker, like sometimes you'll see people, if you go to the casino or like if you've ever been to the casino, sometimes the most loud and boisterous person is the person trying to distract you from their loss. And sometimes that person that has the sunglasses on that's sitting in the corner by themselves with their cars is like the person that's killing it. I'm just saying. Sometimes silence is the best power move you can have. I'm also doing this for myself. I am a very reactive person. When you tell me to do something, I'm like, bam, I put it into motion in like 5 seconds. It's like, oh, I was thinking about doing this. Okay, cool. Here is the Instagram post for it. Here is the Facebook reminder. Here is the newsletter out for it. I'm very like, let's go. And being reactive is really good in a work sense because I get a lot of stuff done. When I hear something needs to be done, I kind of start doing the things to need to put it into motion. But in interpersonal relationships, being reactive is where I have to practice silence. Being the person that pulls back and gets quiet to observe the situation from the outside looking in. And we learned this in our yoga teacher training. We were told to take 3 breaths before reacting. We also had an exercise where you would sit right across from someone. So let's say you're looking at me on our YouTube or Spotify video and you're looking right at me and I'm giving you a story. And instead of nodding your head or instead of, oh my gosh, that happened to me too, which I'm very guilty of because clearly I'm a reactive person, you had to be quiet and just let the person share without any reaction. And that was such a moving experience. I probably should try to do that again. Maybe one of my yoga classes will do that. Or I've done, even in a yoga studio, I've done a partner meditation where you just stared and looked at the other person. And sometimes that staring and that silence can be uncomfortable. But sometimes your greatest good can come from that. Because if you pause before you react, you might end up with something better than you thought you were going to get from that reaction. I'm thinking about clothes because, hello, this is Yoga Socialite. But I'm thinking about, I got a text from a clothing company. I haven't purchased from them yet, but it was like, get 30% off and then an extra $10 off with this coupon code. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to try this company. My only qualm with them is that they don't have a really good return policy. Like, it gets store credit, and I don't know if I'm going to like them. This is my first time purchasing from them. So I'm like, ugh, you know? So I didn't pull the trigger, and I was like doing some more research on them before I purchased these two outfits. And then I got a text today. It's like 40% off dresses. And then one of the things I'm purchasing is a dress. So I'm like, oh, so me taking a moment to reserve myself and not just, hitting Apple Pay got me a little extra discount. So let's chat about a few more ways, and I've given you some of my real life examples, but let's chat about some ways on how to harness the power of silence. If you're someone who feels the need to explain yourself, I'm pointing at myself, or prove yourself, or respond to every little thing, oh my gosh, there is a really amazing lady on TikTok that has been helping me, and I've been watching her videos, and it's like been rejuvenating my power of silence. I don't know her name off the top of my head right now, but I will make sure to post like a little video of her over here on this side with her TikTok name. But her videos short, sweet, and to the point, but they are very encouraging if you're practicing the power of silence. So like I mentioned before, like what I learned in my teacher training, pause before responding, maybe even count to 3. For me, I have to count to 10. I'm keeping it real. For me, I have to count to 10. I can't just count to 3 and then all is well in the world. I have to count to 10. And then, of course, move in silence. Maybe don't announce all of your plans, but execute them. I didn't announce all my plans. Some people still didn't even know I was engaged until this week. Because I move in silence. When it comes to certain things, I move in silence. Let your success be your proof. Be still and know. Psalms 46:10 reminds us to be still and know that I am God is the actual verse. But there's this peace and this power of stillness. And I'm experiencing this just for myself, like I've mentioned, in practicing the power of silence and the power of stillness and like not being so reactive in certain situations, like knowing when is the proper time to be reactive and knowing when's the proper time to sit back and get quiet. For me, sitting back and get quiet is a hard thing to do, but once I do it, usually the result is so much better. Like I gave you the example of just like the coupon code with an extra discount, but just in life in general, there's been times where I sat back and I didn't react to situations and the outcome was 10 times better than what I thought it was. Let's say like in a business sense, maybe I've given someone a pricing to do like their social media, run their social media campaign. And instead of saying like, does that price sound okay? Like I put the price on the table, like I'm like, this is the price, and I just get quiet and I wait to see how they're gonna respond. And then I can adjust my reactions accordingly. Or I've even had in situations where I say, I don't give them a price of what I'm going to charge them for like an event or something, and I just get quiet and I hear what they have to offer me. And sometimes it's a larger amount than what I was going to charge them, and then I can accept that offer. So there's this power in hushing and getting quiet for a moment. And again, I'm not telling you to dim your light. I'm not telling you not to speak your truth, but I'm telling you to know when it's the time to do so. So our listener challenge for this week, I want you to pick one area of your life where you usually feel the need to explain, defend, or prove yourself. Maybe it's work, maybe it's in a relationship, maybe it's even on social media, because I know some of you have social media trolls and you want to go and you want to like tell them off and stuff. Maybe that's a moment to get silent. I had someone comment on one of my videos not too long ago, like trying to give me fashion advice, and I was like, I'm the most fashionable person I know. And I'm so humble. No, I'm crazy fashionable. I've been reading W is not like in print anymore. You have to like get online. But I was reading W magazine. If you know, you know. I was reading W magazine and Vogue since I was like, let's see, probably 5 or 6 years old. My sister, I'm trying to think of like my age difference with my sisters, and my sisters were like in their teens then. So yeah, I was reading Vogue and W magazine since 5 and 6 years old. Now, just because you read a fashion magazine doesn't mean that you like know all about fashion. But one thing that I've like loved is fashion my whole life. Funny story, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent. Funny story. So I really got into fashion after watching the movie Clueless. I love Clueless. I watched it when I was 9 years old, 10 years old. 9 years old. And absolutely adore that movie still to this day. I'm literally wearing, oh my gosh, so funny that I'm wearing this. I'm literally wearing the Beyond Yoga version of Cher from Clueless's one piece little Argyle outfit. I'm literally wearing the Beyond Yoga version of it right now. I'll put a little picture of her over here. Wearing a very similar outfit. But up until then, I always liked fashion, but I didn't really understand it because again, I'm a child. I was always wearing white cowboy boots, which I still wear to this day, white Dallas cowboy boots and a Dallas cowboy little bomber jacket and or like Dallas, probably a Troy Aikman jersey or t-shirt. Forever. I went and saw Clueless in this Troy Aikman t-shirt and white Dallas cowboy boots. And after I saw that movie, it was like, like 9-year-old me was like, oh my God, I'm in Texas, but like all of a sudden I have like an accent that's California and like I'm gonna wear Argyle sweaters and like cute little matching outfits, like literally. So speaking of moving in silence, how do we get back to moving in silence? I moved in silence. It was just like one day I woke up and was like fashion queen and ta-da. But also moving in silence, like I didn't respond to like the troll that was like trying to give me fashion advice. It was like, I just was like, okay, cool. Like I don't have anything to prove to you. I'm good, bro. And also, instead of reacting, pause. Let's get back on track. Sorry, y'all. Instead of reacting, pause, observe, listen, and let your presence be your work. Let your presence, your work, and your energy do the talking. I was like, what did I put in here? Let your presence, your work, and your energy do the talking. I've had situations before where someone has said something about me in a negative light. And there are times where I've had to address it like, hey, like that was inappropriate. Like I would appreciate if you have something to say about me to come to me and say it to my face kind of thing. But there's also times where I just let the other person jibber jabber about me because I know that my character speaks for itself. Who I am speaks for itself. And I don't have to prove myself to anyone. And sometimes that can be so like, ooh, like I really want to say something. You feel like there's injustice there. But in moments that I have not done that, whoa. The experiences I had, oh my gosh, I want to give y'all an example. It's not, I don't know if it's appropriate for the pod, but I have had, I'm trying to think of a good example that's appropriate for the pod that I'm comfortable sharing with y'all, where I was really quiet in a moment and let someone just like jibber jabber on about me. I just saw 2 hummingbirds fly by. I feel like that's a good sign. And the result of their reaction versus like what I got out of it, I mean, you would have thought like I had set something up, like I had like characters in a play and I had set something up the way that it turned out for me. Like it was like this person was just like, wait, what just happened to me? And it was like, I don't know. I had nothing to do with it because again, I didn't say anything. Like this is just the reaction from your behavior. It was fabulous. Let me just say that. I know I usually like spill the tea, but I'm going to keep that tea to myself. I'm going to practice the power of silence today. But let me say, there is a Bible verse that says, and God will set your table before your enemies. And anytime I have had a situation where I needed God to take the wheel, Jesus take the wheel, he has. All right, and then notice what shifts. See how people respond when you don't give them the reaction they expect. Feel how much energy you conserve without letting yourself engage in unnecessary battles. I mean, mic drop right there. Let me take this off. All right, my closing thoughts is silence is not weakness. Just like kindness is not weakness, silence is not weakness. It's not shrinking down. It's not dimming your light. It's strategy. It's self-control. It's power. And not everyone needs to know your next move. Just let them fill it out and let them find out when it happens. And with that, I leave you with one of my favorite quotes. Work hard in silence and let success make the noise. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. You know how I love to do things short, sweet, and to the point. So we hopped right in there. We hit all my key points. And I'm sending you all so much love. Please make sure to follow me on socials, like other socials than the one you're listening to this pod on. Of course, I am on Instagram at Yoga Socialite as well as TikTok. I'm not on TikTok as much because I love Instagram. So I'm on Instagram, and definitely follow me on Instagram because I do like little polls and stuff for the pod to come up with like the next episode. So make sure to follow me on Instagram. And I'm thinking of changing the podcast release date instead of Tuesdays for Wednesdays. Because my Mondays and Tuesdays are so busy. Like I'm literally recording the pod and then I'm going to edit it and put it out there for you this afternoon when I could just like release it on Wednesday morning. So comment down below and let me know how you feel about a Wednesday morning pod instead of a Tuesday morning pod. And also check my Instagram stories because I'm going to mention it in there too. It was great chatting with all of you. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.